All right, I just finished watching the Google I/O May 2024 Developer Day. They launched it obviously today, the day after OpenAI did their thing. I think OpenAI snuck in there to do their release yesterday just because they wanted to upstage Google, show them up. But I watched both. Yesterday was our most popular video so far, so check that out if you haven't seen it about OpenAI and their new model for GPT 4o. But today I'm going to go over everything I saw in the same format as yesterday of what Google announced today. So the first thing they went through is photos. So if you have Google Photos, whatever, they gave this car license example, which I thought was kind of a cool thing, honestly, because I could imagine using this. Is they said, like, you got a million photos or whatever. You probably have your car at some point. If you forget your car license or one of them, which I often do, you can go to this new thing coming out that's called Ask Photos, and you say, um, what is my license plate? And then the AI goes, searches through all the photos, and it actually tells you your license plate number if it's in one of the photos, which it probably is at some point. So instead of going and searching it, that's kind of neat. You can imagine all the other sorts of things that you could ask. One thing that I thought, though, is this is going to make like the police state pretty happy, obviously, because I mean, they're going to be able to search for anything soon through photos and videos and stuff. But that's a whole other thing with privacy or whatever. But, you can basically search the photos, but this is coming out in the summer. So they're bragging about it as if it's here now, but we're going to have to wait a little bit. And they did another one. The example was, and I could see using this too because we have a 7-year-old son at home, and this was, you could say sometimes my wife and I will say like, well, when did our son learn how to swim? I forget. And then searches all the photos and I guess video clips probably, and then it'll tell you. It pulls them out and it says that. Or if you say, um, how did they swim at the beginning compared to now, and it'll show you that sort of thing. So basically, instead of thumbing through all the photos, you can go, even if you don't title them, which I never do, they're all disorganized, you can go and ask about the content of the photo and then get a lot of info out of it and bring them up. So I thought that was fine, but it's not coming out immediately. No surprise here. They are talking about rolling out SGE, so Search Generative Experience, more than before. This is no surprise, but they're really going to be pushing this. So the question I thought, because we have a website, aigrowthguys.com, and some other ones, is SEO, search engine optimization, is this really dead? Is this going away? And I guess it is to some extent, but or to a very large extent, it is because Google and these other search engines are going to start answering the question as many as they can right in there without clicking on a blue link. But I think it really depends on what type of content you write about. So the type of thing, like if it's a fact that AI is going to know, I would say don't make a website that talks about these type of facts because like there's just I mean even Wikipedia for example is going to get so much less traffic because it's just factual information. So if you search it like when was so and so born, it's just going to spit it out right there, or anything that it knows for sure. But if you are writing about opinions or comparisons or experiences, personal experiences, I think that's still going to link out because I don't see how they could generate an experience. Like if I say, what's my experience like, I don't know, living in Thailand for a year? Well, you know, that would be better served as a blog or a video, I think. So it really depends what you're writing about, but you have to be careful. If you're writing fact stuff, I would forget it. Uh, Then they've announced, I think it's starting now, but I think you do have to sign up. They're going from 1 million to 2 million tokens of a context window That's how much you can input into the Gemini 1.5 large language model. I mean, a million was already huge. I mean, this is thousands of pages depending on the size of the font. So you can input like many books and then it'll. So that's already huge. I don't know what doubling it's going to do. Someone can tell me in the comments, maybe they have an idea. It's always good to be better, but I didn't personally think it was that big a deal. I never used close to the million, or I haven't so far. So I wasn't too excited, but it's going in the right direction. And the CEO today said their goal is an infinitely large context window, which is kind of hilarious at some point. I mean, just basically dump the entire internet in there and ask a question. So that's where they're going, I guess. A major theme today is integrating with everything, which I think is awesome. I don't have this yet. I think we're a little delayed. I'm in Canada with how they roll all this stuff out. I'm not even sure it's really in the States properly. I'm a paid user of ChatGPT, haven't really paid into the Google thing, although we do use like the Office suite, but not the AI version. So I am using Gmail, like the professional one, Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, all that kind of stuff. So in this workplace labs, basically they're going to be able to integrate, which I think is really cool. And I probably will buy this at some point, which is basically you can open up a Google Doc and then start writing, and then the AI is right there to help you write something, and then it can throw it into your email directly. Or if you're on Google Slides and I'm making a slide deck, like I made this one on Canva, but if I use Google Slides later, which I do sometimes to make video slides, I could actually tell it like make a slide based on this format, have these visuals, use this font, this size, bullet points, whatever. And instead of taking, I don't know, 20 minutes to put it together, maybe it just does it in 1 minute. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I think it can do. So using the actual software directly is where they're going with that. So that part gives them a leg up, I think, on OpenAI, because just using Chat GPT, like it's sort of a standalone thing to some extent. Multimodal, just like yesterday, is huge, and I think this is where everybody's going. Is so text, video, audio in, text, video, audio out. So you can upload a video, get a video out for output, or any of these things. So instead of just texting and reading text, you can put in audio and say, here's me reading a story, make a video out and give me that, whatever. So that's the idea. It's really going multimodal. The example they gave, and if you haven't tried this, it's pretty cool, is a Notebook LM, which belongs to Google. You can just Google it and find it and where to log in for free. So you try this Notebook LM, and basically it's sort of a workspace where you can upload a bunch of stuff you're working on, files, whatever, and then the AI sort of goes through whatever you've uploaded in that little workspace and then answers questions based on that. So the example they gave here in this demo was the guy was helping his son with, I think, physics homework. So they had uploaded all the physics stuff the kid was working on, and then they said, give me a quiz based on this and like some other questions, and then actually read a story back in audio, like a dialogue based on this. Because they said, the kid was better at listening instead of reading, like that was his learning style. So that was kind of neat. And it said that you can actually interrupt it and join in the conversation. So imagine you're hearing a dialogue about the physics topic, like gravity or something. And then you can jump in there and say, hey, I was wondering about this. And then they answer you in real time. And that's the other benefit with all this stuff speeding up. It's like, the speed makes it very lifelike. So using your voice and joining it's like joining a conversation with a professor, basically. And then the other example they gave, which was also kind of cool, he said, like, my son loves basketball. Can you give a basketball question about this physics topic? And it did a pretty decent job of that. I forget what it was, but it incorporated their interests. So I would play around with that. This would be useful for me because I'm very disorganized. I think a lot of people are, but you get so many emails. I never delete them, and so this thing can summarize all your emails in Gmail from a certain person. So I could say, like, I haven't read any of the teacher's emails over the last 6 months. Can you summarize those and tell me all the main things I need and maybe put those in my calendar, what I have to do, stuff like that. So you can, instead of just searching for an email, you can ask questions about it. Let them go, let the AI search around and pull up whatever you need. So it's a lot better than just search. You can get summaries and search a whole bunch of ones simultaneously and then generate a new thing out of there. So that was kind of cool. Agents, which is what everybody's hoping for, including me, although these aren't really here yet, but they're just, that's the thing with these presentations. They brag about it. I mean, I understand it's their big company presentation, but they paint everything like it's already here and give examples, but it's not quite here. But anyway, the example was Google searching your emails for a receipt, finding the order number, filling in a return form, and scheduling a pickup. So, like, that's kind of unbelievable, right? But then my thought was, if ever, because we have a business that actually sells products and returns are already an issue. If you make that so easy for people to actually go and return everything, prices are going to go up because everyone's going to be returning. You just say, I don't know, return this with one click of a button and you don't even have to fill the form. It reduces the friction, and I think there's going to be a lot more returns. That was just like one example that they gave, how easy it is to, and then the CEO even made a joke about it, like, oh, you can buy these and return it. It's no big deal. So they're really making stuff like that easy. But it's a cool idea, though, that these agents can do multiple tasks. I would have thought of a better example than returning a product, but you get the idea how it can do multi steps for you, actually log in, search, send, schedule, that kind of stuff. Um, and then they had, and this is a funny one, also shows to me how out of touch they are in a way, but agents for shopping, and they always use these kind of examples, like booking a flight, choosing a restaurant, or choosing a dry cleaner. So basically you say something like, I'm in a new city for the weekend, book us like a really nice seafood restaurant by the lake, and then go get my dry cleaning and pick it up. The thing is, though, I mean, I guess these guys are making so much money there, they don't think about the price. I would hate to get the AI to actually shop for me. I like to get my wife to search around because I don't like the searching part. I get that, but find a deal, look for something that we want to do, at least a reasonable price, rather than say, hey, here's my credit card, go buy whatever you think is good. And obviously, you can imagine from Google's perspective, who makes all this money on ads, they are thinking, okay, well, you know, everyone, all these companies are going to bid on whatever we recommend and whatever we book for you. So they're chomping at the bit, hoping everybody just does this. I bet a lot of people will, even if they shouldn't. But that's the idea there. You just give the agent your credit card and say, go buy me whatever I want there. So that's quite something. They also released Google 1.5 Flash, which is faster and cheaper than Pro. It's always good to have these different models and different speeds. So, like a lightweight thing, it's not quite as good or quite as powerful, but it's faster. And sometimes you need that speed, or it works on a smaller thing depending on what you're doing. So that kind of thing. Okay, so the next example is really cool. And I guess this is where these guys are all going with this sort of thing, because OpenAI did a similar thing yesterday. But basically, you open up your camera and your phone and you turn it on to the camera setting as if you're going to record something, but you don't press record. You just let the AI see what you're seeing as you walk around a room or whatever. And they were like walking around their office and they were able to say, what's this thing on the desk, or zoom in on the computer screen somebody had and say, what's this code on the screen saying? And what's the next line of code that I should write? Or what's this basically saying? Or translate this, whatever I'm looking at. And then they walked over to the window and they said, what city am I in? What am I looking at? And then they'd keep walking around and doing similar things like that. Or here's something on the whiteboard. How do I finish this problem? What's a good next step? And then they said, which I thought was kind of the neatest part, they said, did you happen to notice my glasses while I was walking around? And it said, yes, I did. They're over on one of the desks beside an apple. So basically, even if you're not asking directly while you're walking, it's recorded everything, and then it sees and remembers where everything is. So, you can, like, this is really good for searching stuff. You can be so disorganized. This is what I love. Basically, if you have everything on video or everything on a photo or somewhere in your email, you don't even have to think about organizing it. You can just ask, hey, go find it for me. I don't know where I put it. Just let me know. So that's kind of cool. And that's where this kind of thing is going. They announced, and apparently you can play with it now, although I'm on the waiting list. I had to join that. But Imagen or Imagen 3, I think Imagen, they had two before. So it's more photorealistic. This is sort of the competitor to DALI 3 or Mid Journey, these kind of things. So they said it was more photorealistic, better with text, which is key. Like right now, if you're making a photo or an image and you say, have the guy holding up a sign that says something, it's usually misspelled. So better with text, better with details, and you can try this with Image FX. They have so many weird things that are in different spots, but it doesn't matter. You can just Google Image FX, one word, and probably sign up for the waiting list. I guess that's what I got, but it's probably pretty good. It looked pretty good in the demo anyway. Just disappointing I couldn't try it yet. The AI music thing that they did looked kind of cool. So they actually worked together with musicians, and then they would do something, play some music, and then hear it back and ask the AI, like, what do you think would sound good? Like they'd say, add some bongo drums here, and then it would put it in. So it was sort of human and AI mixed music. So that was, they thought it was kind of cool. So it sounded good. Let's see where that goes. A new what do you call it? Generative video model, like a competitor to OpenAI's Sora, which still is not out, called VEO. Um, and it's Video FX, and I had to join the wait list for that too. But this is going to be great, right? You can make these little video clips, whatever you want. And I'm dying to try these and throw them in videos like this and little projects, whatever I'm doing. But so far, you can't do it. I'm assuming that OpenAI is going to include that soon when they probably release GPT-5, hopefully soon. But anyway, you can't really use these things, but they look cool in demos. Google Cloud announced some updates. They have this Trillium TPU chip and access to NVIDIA Blackwell chips. That's like late 2024 and into 2025. So that is forever in like AI timeframes. So, they like I said, they sort of brag about all this stuff. So if they're just working on it, they kind of act like they already have it. But anyway, that's coming down the pipeline. All right. So the next thing here is just search. And again, it's funny with their examples. They said, find the best yoga studio in Boston that is a 10-minute walk from my house, or something like that. And Google loves this because companies will have to pay for their ads. Basically, these are going to be ads to show up. But again, it's like it's going to be difficult, even though they say, you can compare prices. It's all the options I'm pretty sure that you're going to get are going to be, maybe not what you wanted. I think this is still better for human searching than trusting an AI to do it, but that's where they're going with that. Video search. So basically, you can use a video that you take from your phone. The example they gave was some old record player that wasn't working, and they took a little video of it and uploaded it and said, "What's wrong with this and what brand is it?" And by looking at the clip and how the thing wasn't working, it was able to answer that. So instead of just like doing it with photo, you can do it with video. They have this AI overview. That's where they're going. So again, harder for SEO, less blue links to click on going out, and just you search something, and then Google gives you this whole AI overview, and that's really where they're going with this. So we're really going to have to watch this as content creators and think, how am I going to get in there for free with organic content? What do I need to write about? Gems. And of course, they don't mention this, like who's their competitor, but to me, it sounded like GPTs. They call them gems. So it's ways to personalize how to use Gemini. So you can say, like, you are a fifth grade tutor and act in this way. And then anytime you want to do that type of thing, you can click on, I guess, that gem like a GPT and have it act through that paradigm. So that's kind of interesting to see where they're going with that, but it sounded like the same type of thing. Um, and like I said before, integrating, this is a huge thing, integrating all of Google's products, email, sheets, docs, the whole thing. And I thought of, this would be great. This would have been great last month for me doing my taxes. So searching my email for all receipts, like all my receipts are emailed to me. So if I could just go on there and say, give me all of my receipts for like electricity, add them all up, download them, put them in this file, and tell me the total amount, that would be great because then I wouldn't have to go clicking around and doing anything. So that was my example, but I can imagine so many things that are just buried on your computer, buried in email somewhere, and you just want to organize them, get them, summarize them, whatever. That's the big thing with Gemini for me. So that is pretty much it. They mentioned something else about learning, something else about safety, but those were, kind of boring, but that's where we are. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I'd love to hear what you think of this format in the comments. Do check us out at aigrowthguys.com and do click down in the description to sign up for our um, email newsletter. And we will be sending some free cool AI tools that you can use, stuff like that. But anyway, like the video, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, so we'll talk to you later.